Lads, hello you lovelies. Let's talk all about Wonder Man episodes 5 and 6. This show really continues to impress me. This show continues to be what I've been wanting to see from Marvel Studios, which is an actual character study, an actual street level look within the MCU. This is exactly what I love about comic books is you can have things like Guardians exist, but you can also have things like this exist where you feel the effects of people having powers, but in very, very day-to-day ways. And these two episodes were especially good about that. So if you're watching this show and loving it, I'm covering each and every episode, please hit that subscription bell if you like comic stuff, if you like movie stuff, if you like TV stuff, if you love pop culture. I read 50 to 70 comics a week and I review things from that lens. I'm a comic book expert, comic historian. I've got a show on HBO through DC and I do lots of stuff here. So if that sounds like your jam, hit that subscription bell, hit the like in this video and leave a comment letting me know what you think of these two episodes in particular. Let's talk about 5 and 6. Now, I love that the 4th episode, right in the middle of the season, like that it's an 8-episode show, episode 4 gave us that Doorman episode. That bottle episode was genius. Check out that last review. I dove all into it, but I knew after they revealed powers in that way, it was very likely we'd get powers as a more acceptable established thing. And it's a really tricky thing to bring powers into a show that is this street level, that is this day-to-day, that is a slice of life show, that is a character study of an actor, of a pair of actors. Adding in powers can be very, very tricky to that because it can throw off the entire tone. I thought it was genius to sprinkle in a little bit of powers in those first 3 episodes. We see, obviously, the wall behind him. We see, the rumblings, the eyes, and all those things. But with Doorman, we see full-on powers. We actually also get a little bit of a comic-accurate costume in episode 4. So coming back to Simon's story, it allows us to have a little bit more of plausible deniability. There's a little bit more of suspension of disbelief because we've established, not just obviously in the MCU, but within his world, powers exist. So I love that this is the first episode we get to see powers used offensively, used in a real way. We get to see a lot of that, ionic energy, telekinetic, adjacent, super powerful, invulnerable Wonder Man-ness, and again, we get to see Simon Williams used offensively for the first time. That fight saving Trevor is incredible, and that also builds up Trevor in his relationship. Now he's saved Trevor, all while Trevor knows that he's betraying him. The betrayal just gets to be cutting deeper. We just are more invested in how much their friendship works, how this bromance is building, and feeling more and more horrible for Trevor's part in spying on Simon and all these things. And this episode in particular, episode 5, I thought had truly incredible stakes, especially for something that is a character study. I've said from the beginning, I love that this show is a love letter to LA. I love that this show is a love letter to the industry. This episode was so LA. Between like the chimichurri candy and the beautiful craftsman home a bunch of kids are making candy in to sell in the street being like a hideout that they have to use because of an altercation with much more serious things like drugs in Trevor's past. The cop element was a great right level of stakes for where we are with his powers now. And that wouldn't work in most superhero shows. We've survived the incident in New York. We've survived, like cops are little sprinkles of set dressing in most superhero shows. This is actual stakes. Like you're afraid of them outside the door. You're afraid of these gangbangers. You're afraid of the ramifications. And I love that the stakes feel really real here. And I love that it feels very LA. So as someone who lives in LA, who loves this city, it's beautiful to see some of these streets mostly driven correctly to get from one place to another place. For the most part, they've done a really good job geographically, but all of it has been such a beautiful love letter to the city, and that's such an important part to the artist, to the actors, to the people that live in LA. We see a lot of stuff filmed in New York. We see a lot of stuff filmed not in any of the places, but it's set in New York and LA. But it's been a while. I think lately we've been having a resurgence with the studio, with I Love LA and certain things set here that feel like here. That show with Kristen Bell really establishes like the setting really well. It's really beautiful to see that first show about acting, though. So I really loved episode 5 for the stakes, for the first use of powers, and for LA getting to be a character, particularly in 5. Episode 6 brings us a completely... Oh, and the stakes as well, besides just the cops. I love the ticking clock. Episode 5. I'm going to finish my thoughts on 5. Episode 5's ticking clock is genius because it parallels the ticking clock of getting in that audition in episode 2. In episode 2, he's got to get an audition in to appease the casting director that's casting Wonder Man. Obviously, that works out. He's got the audition. He gets a callback. But I love that the callback is the increase of stakes both for the ticking clock of the show, but also for the progress of Simon Williams and Trevor Trevor Slattery. These stakes are growing. They've got to get to this callback. They've got to do this thing. So I love that at the end of the episode, like, that is this big moment that increases the ticking clock element, and then being like, you know, weary because of the events of 5, and then finding out, obviously, this incident's coming in 6, which brings us to 6. 6 is so much fun, and 6 might be the episode where I wonder most if this show is for anyone outside of the industry, if this is for people outside of LA. I've been out here 16 years. I can't imagine my life not out here, especially through my 20s and 30s. I am so curious if this episode resonated. I've had callbacks. I've had meetings at directors' houses. I've had weird acting, I guess, what would you even call them? Games, acting, warm-ups, acting. You know, there's a variable term of what it is to try to shake up some improv in an odd setting and just like free yourself. Like, it's a very odd thing, and it's beautiful to see how good these actors are in this episode, because it is so hard to act badly well. And in this, they had to act badly and then find the acting well. You get to see Simon click into being engaged. You get to see the actor, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, being good at acting as Simon Williams, but also being good as Simon Williams, and also being bad at acting through the lens of why Simon Williams is stuck in his own head. There's a lot of layers to all this. And then the beautiful bravado of Trevor Slattery and the different levels in that and history. And I really love that this episode brought us from the Hollywood side what it is to make a superhero movie. The director, he has already said in that little YouTube video that Simon watches what he wants to do with making a superhero film, get to the human condition. In this episode from the Hollywood side, we hear some incredible pearls of wisdom, some great dialogue about why to make a superhero film, what it is about a superhero film. I also really think it's funny and just cheeky casting. I think they made the show in 2023. I think that it's in pickups, you know, in 24 and 25, but 23 was the main show. So I think Von Kovac was already cast before or simultaneous to him being cast as a crazy dictator in Superman. But it's really funny to me that in this episode we get some little Marvel Easter eggs, some Marvel Studios Easter eggs with obviously Captain America and the incident in New York and all the superhero stuff on his wall to establish, like, you know, a mood board, a think piece, like the experience of the film. But the description of the film and then the music choice, which is a reference to Midnight Cowboy, is so James Gunn, and that actor just worked with James Gunn in Superman. So I just thought that was a fun little cheeky meta layer. But I also really love that he gets to be the eyeline for the studio side of the goal of making good art out of superhero films. I imagine there'll be an element of Simon Williams getting to convey his personal connection to the world of superheroes, because we saw him in that first episode watching Wonder Man. We know his connection, we know that, but I think this will be like, this episode is the, you know, artist making the film side. I'm excited to see the artist within the film acting side, and I'm assuming that'll come in episode 7 or maybe the finale in 8, depending on how they pace the show. But I really love all the acting performances in a show about acting, especially in this episode, and the incredible build of pressure because of the Doorman episode, the incredible build of pressure because of how Simon lives in his head, all the payoff from the arc with the girlfriend and how this is like who he is. He's very reserved, he keeps to himself, he gets in his head. We've seen that for every acting exercise. We saw it in the first audition, we see it in his day-to-day life, and Trevor helping him open up, and Trevor feeling worse and worse about betraying him and still spying on him, and all of it just really, really works for me, and it all feels like a really true, authentic story of an actor, and also feels fun in that it's a man with a secret identity in such a different way. Like, secret identities are as common as anything in comic books, in cape comic books, and this secret identity is about an actor hiding his powers, giving him a different kind of secret identity, and actors in real life have to protect their own identities in reality in such an interesting way. So it's just such a fun way to play with the character. I've never been this invested in Simon Williams in my life. I so am now, thanks to this team. The writing is incredible from Andrew Guest. The directing has been top-notch. I really, really am impressed with the show. We are now 6 out of the 8 episodes in. We have 2 to go. I'm really curious how the pacing and arc and things will land with the Wonder Man movie, you know? And I'm really enjoying it. It's really Entourage. This episode was especially Entourage. The show overall has felt very The Studio and Curb Your Enthusiasm and character study. This episode felt very Entourage, and I missed that show. So this was quite enjoyable. It's a less bro-y version, but it's pretty great. So yeah, we had little fun cameos and world building, a little bit of powers, and a lot of great acting stuff to build out this world, and I really love this show. So amongst my favorite Marvel TV so far, let's see if it sticks the landing in the next video. Subscribe, comment, let me know if you're enjoying it as much as I am. Again, this is very specific to me. This is very personal to me. I connect with Simon Williams more than 90% of the characters in the MCU, especially with his history and especially with how he gets stressed and gets in his head and handles things. But all the acting stuff and all that is very lived-in experience for me. So I'm personally in love with it. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe if you're not already. I will see you very soon. If not now, it might already be up for episodes 7 and 8. The complete season of Wonder Man all airing at once. So I'll see you soon.